This video is to show you how to create chairs. Chairs, you have a couple of options on how you can do them. I'm going to show you how to do both of those options. So my first option is going to be something that is going to make me have to take my chair apart and then tape it back together. You can also do a little bit of origami and make it not that way. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say my chair is this wide. You can also, just with your ruler, measure that out. So I will draw my reference line, and then I'm going to cut a little strip that is as wide as my chair. One thing to note, depending on how your chair is situated, is how you're going to cut this. Since my chair is facing the side, I made it to where it is as wide as the side of it. So if I go here, when I stand it up, that's how wide it is. If your chair is facing this way, you would cut it like this instead. So you would measure here to here. But because mine is sideways, I'm going to do it like this. Then you would say, I need a little tab to connect my chair to the ground. So you would create a little tab to connect your chair to the ground. And that is going to be where you start all of your measuring from. Then you would look at your front view, say this is one leg, and it is 2 feet. So you would draw, you would say, there's my 2-foot mark. Then you would say, my seat is 1 foot wide. So you would draw your 1-foot mark. Then you would say that from the seat to the top, and here's where it gets confusing, because you're going to go here, here, up. That, and I didn't write it on here, but that is actually 2 feet as well. And so that is 2 feet, which means 1 inch. I would draw my 2-foot mark, and that's going to be where I end. Now I want to give myself enough room to have a tab, so that's actually going to be the first thing that I fold. So I'm going to fold a little tab. Depending on how your chair is, you may not actually need that tab, but I'm going to go ahead and fold mine in just in case we end up needing it at the end. Then we're going to do a little bit of origami. We're going to say this is going to be the front, so that one stays straight, and then we fold so that we can go backwards on it and create our seat. So notice how I folded so that it goes backwards for our seat. Then I'm going to fold forward to create the back of my chair. So now you can see I folded back, I folded forward. Now I'm at the top. And my chair isn't actually going to need that tab, so I'm going to cut that off. If you need a tab up there for some reason, just kind of keep that in the back of your mind that that may be something you need to do. Then to create this back leg, you are just going to take another piece of paper, cut it out to the size you need it to be. I'm going to say I need it that big, and I'm going to just kind of cut it off wherever. And then I would measure on this side, say that's where I need it to be. I would, oh, sorry, I actually drew my line on the wrong side, and that's a common mistake I see. So you need to make sure your dot is on the same side on both sides. So I'm going to try that again. That's where I need it to be. Draw my reference line. And then I'm going to cut out my strip. Once I have this strip, I'm going to give myself another tab to attach it to my floor with. And then I'm just going to attach this to the back of my chair. And so with this, I actually want my white sides to be on the outside, so I will attach my 2 lined sides together. And you just need to make sure that it's a little bit shorter than the top of your chair. So you can kind of eyeball that a little bit. Then you want to make sure that you can actually attach this to the ground. So you will say my line needs to be 2 feet up from the ground. And that is where we attach our chair and our back together. So when I go to tape this together, that means I will attach just like that so I can know for sure that's where it needs to go. Fold my tape around. And then when I go to attach this to the ground, I have my 2 tabs that it'll attach with. So I will sit it up wherever it needs to be. And then that's going to be my chair. So you want to make sure that it matches here and that it matches here before you attach it. Just another reminder that you need to be coloring everything before you attach it to the ground. Another way that you can do this, instead of creating this little tab here at the end, I'm going to go ahead and cut this off and reuse it to show you. Instead of creating that little tab and then having to actually connect everything together, you can just have a really stinking long sheet of paper. And so if I had this still attached, then once I folded this and went up, I would say this is where mine starts. So this would be the top of mine. And then you can just fold this. And if this was long enough, it isn't right now because I have it cut off. But if this was long enough, then it would go all the way down and you would just tape it like that. So if it makes more sense to fold it, you can fold it. If that completely throws your brain for a loop, just cut it off and then you can just attach that back as your last leg. Again, like I did with the tables, you can just leave these pieces like this. If you are just really dying to have actual chair legs, all good. Just cut out your little strips as legs. And then cut that out. And then you will have your little chair legs that you can attach to the ground. Either one is fine with me. If you want to leave it closed, you can leave it closed. Take a look at the other videos if you have more questions. And as always, send me an email if there's something specific.